How we doing, guys? Welcome to DT's Daily. We are back after a few days away and we've got a lot to talk about. Now, on today's show, we're going to take a look back at the games over the last couple of days. Of course, there's been a couple of games cancelled as well due to COVID. But plenty of goals and plenty of talking points. And we're also going to be talking about Arsenal because there's a big possibility of new signings coming in and a lot of players going out of the door.
I represent my fucking self.
How we doing, guys? Welcome to DT's Daily. That's right.
So the first place, we're going to start at the games that have been happening over the last couple of days. Matches coming thick and fast during the Christmas period. But there, of course, was a couple of games cancelled due to COVID. Manchester City's game at Everton, that was cancelled, and the news that I can bring you on that is that they have reopened up their training ground after a load of tests, which I believe was on Tuesday, and they've all come back as negative. There's no new positive tests there or anything else, so they are able to open their training complex again, and it's looking likely that their game against Chelsea at the weekend will go ahead. More recently, Fulham's game against Spurs was cancelled yesterday because of a coronavirus outbreak within the Fulham squad. So we're going to have to see how that affects the games moving forward, as that one is a little bit more fresher than the Manchester City one. But what I will say is that, you know, I wish all the best to anybody that is affected at Fulham, and I wish them all a speedy recovery. Now, going into Monday, this is where things get confusing at the moment with the Christmas period and everything, and games coming on weird random days and everything else. I'm trying to actually think to myself what day it is today. Is it Thursday? I think it is. But Monday, we had a couple of games in there, and Crystal Palace against Leicester, a 1-1 draw, and Wilfried Zaha opened the scoring for Crystal Palace, and then Harvey Barnes with 7 minutes to go got the equaliser. So yeah, a point apiece, and I don't know whether that does Crystal Palace or Leicester any good. Chelsea against Aston Villa, and it's more points dropped for Chelsea, and there's a lot of Chelsea fans that are not happy with Frank Lampard, and they actually want to change a manager. And I warned them, but I don't think he's going to get sacked yet. They've got a run of games coming up which are tough. The Manchester City one is next for them. And yeah, that will be an interesting game, that's for sure. And what happens in that, because if they lose that one, then I'll tell you something, fans are really going to be on the edge at Chelsea. But interesting times. Aston Villa came back into this game, equalised just after half time, smacked the woodwork as well. Chilwell had an opportunity right at the end. What a goal that would have been if that went in. But a point apiece for those two. Going into Tuesday's games, and where do we start here? Burnley against Sheffield United. A brilliant victory for Burnley in their battle for relegation and 3 points. But Sheffield United, still no wins this season. They are an absolute shambles. And it'd be interesting to see what actually happens, you know, with Sheffield United. Are they just going to look at it now and say, you know what, we're too far gone. It's not worth changing the manager and, you know, falling even further behind. Let's stick with the manager that got us here, understand the situation. Let's see if a miracle can happen. If it don't, we go back into the Championship and we've got the right man that can bring us up again. Very interesting one. Southampton against West Ham, 0-0. Don't really need to say much more about that. West Brom against Leeds United, 5-0 win for Leeds United. And there's a couple of talking points about this game. Sawyers, first of all, the own goal in the 9th minute. What an own goal that was. And I suppose you're always taught as a defender, if you're going to pass back to the keeper, don't pass directly at the goal, because you never know what happens. He could be falling asleep. He could miss time, you know, the touch on the ball. There could be a bobble. Always aim for the outside of the goal, because if something like this does happen, it goes wide and it don't go in the net. But Sam Allardyce, he will not be happy about that at all. And the other talking point, I suppose, from this game would be afterwards a tweet that was sent out by Leeds United's official Twitter account. And it's got a lot of people talking. A hell of a lot of people talking. And I'm sure most of you have already seen it and what it actually entails. The one thing that I will say to Leeds United in their defence would be that they've called out a lot of, you know, players and pundits before on their official account. I think most recently they called out Gabriel over comments to do with something, you know, with them. So they are consistent with it in that respect, but it's whether you should be using your official account for these kind of things. That's kind of where the argument, you know, lies. But it's a shame that we're talking about those kind of things and not talking about what was a brilliant performance and a 5-0 win. Arsenal, of course, 1-0 at Brighton. Massive 3 points. Massive in the grand scheme of things. And 2 wins on the bounce. And you know what the maddest thing is? Arsenal are only 6 points behind Chelsea and Spurs. 2 sides that a few weeks ago everyone was talking about challenging for the Premier League title. Only 6 points. Amazing, isn't it? Manchester United against Wolves, and this was a 1-0 win for Manchester United. And I suppose they're going to look at this and say it's 3 points. And I suppose that's all they can really take from this, because the performance was not great. And it took a 94th minute winner from Marcus Rashford, deflected as well, to get the 3 points for Manchester United. But they climbed up to second place in the league. And that just shows how mad this Premier League season is. Because Manchester United have not been playing well at all. But they're picking up 3 points. And they're in the mix. And they've got a game coming up shortly against Liverpool. And that could be one hell of a game. Given both of their positions at the moment. But yeah, remains to be seen whether they will last the pace or whether they will come unstuck eventually. But so far so good. They're getting the victories. And I don't think their fans are going to care how they get them. Now we're going to be going into some transfers. Arsenal. First piece of news which I saw yesterday late evening was that Kolasinac is nearing his exit from Arsenal and he's returning to Schalke. This of course was something that was nearly done in the summer, and it's very evident that Kolasinac, his time at Arsenal is done. He's one of these players that's not contributed anything to the team. He's on stupid wages, over 110 grand a week, around them, you know, sort of figures. And he's one of those that we need to get out of the club as soon as possible. And this is the first step. One of those players that we need gone. One of the players that's simply not good enough. And if this is true, I wish him well. And it's a good move. Good move all round. So I am very, very happy about that. Now, looking at some potential players that could be coming in. Atletico Madrid cancelled the contract of Diego Costa over the last couple of days, and there's been his name mentioned at Arsenal. Absolutely not. Not for me. I'd rather give the likes of Bellerin an opportunity than bring in the likes of Diego Costa. We don't need another Chelsea reject. And there's also mentions of Real Madrid's Isco. Again, not for me, to be honest with you. I really, really don't see the appeal in this. This is not 5 years ago. And nah, not for me. There's also talk at the lad from Norwich, Buendia, I believe it's pronounced. I'm awful with my pronunciations, as you all know. Really, really good playmaker. at Norwich, and they're saying that Arsenal are very, very interested, and a deal is likely to be in place between Arsenal and Norwich for his services, and around about 15 to 20 million pound. I think that would be an absolute steal if we got him for that. Also, a name that's being mentioned, and this one got me very, very interested when I first see it, and it's the lad at RB Leipzig, Marcel Sabitzer. I'll tell you something, if Arsenal ended up getting him, I would be very, very happy. The likelihood of getting him this month, or I say this month, it's still December, I mean in January, I'm not too sure. He does have a release clause, and given the fact he does have a release clause, means that there may well be a few more interested parties. Now, one of those teams is Tottenham. That's a name that's been mentioned, and a whole host of other clubs in the Premier League. So, you know, I saw him at first hand in the Champions League. He actually scored a couple of goals against Spurs when they played him. Brilliant player, and can play all across that front line, from the attacking midfielder out wide. Quality player, and that is the kind of signing that would really excite me. And also, just to, you know, bring up as well the Kolasinac story, because I don't know if I actually mentioned it. It's actually a loan deal, and I don't know whether there's the obligation to buy and all the rest of it, but he'll be gone anyway. But he's actually given up part of his salary to join, so fair play to him. He's done that. It's not like he wasn't getting a lot anyway. You know, and he could spare chopping it down a little bit, but it is what it is, and it looks like he's on its way. But the story about Sabitzer, definitely, if we could get that one done, I would be absolutely buzzing. So there we go. That is it for today's DT's Daily. As usual, let me know in the comment section what you think about today's topics. The names that I mentioned there: Isco, yes or no? Sabitzer, yes or no? Diego Costa, yes or no? Also, what do you think about the Kolasinac situation, and who else do we get out of the door? There's the possibility and talk of Reiss Nelson and maybe Callum Chambers leaving on loan for a bit more experience. Callum Chambers, I'm not sure about the experience side of things. I think it's more game time and then maybe move him on. But Reiss Nelson, I can kind of understand that one. But yeah, let me know in the comment section. So if you're new around here, make sure you hit the subscribe button, smash a like on this video, and I will see you a lot soon. I'm out of here.